I want to tell you something that might actually surprise you. Scientists have known this for over a decade. A whole food plant-based diet can slash insulin resistance by up to 60%. Yes, and in type 2 diabetes, it can reverse it entirely. Yet right now, today, millions of diabetics are sitting in a doctor's office being handed a prescription. Not this information, a prescription. I'm not here to attack your doctor. Your doctor is working inside a system that was never designed to teach you this. It's not their fault, but it is your problem, and it's absolutely solvable. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how low-fat, plant-based eating works at the cellular level. The biology, the mechanism, the reason it works for type 1 and 2 diabetics. No theory, no opinions, science. Stay with me, because what you learn in the next 8 minutes could completely change how you manage your diabetes for the rest of your life.
What the data shows. Let's start with the numbers, because the numbers are not subtle. Over 60% reduction in insulin resistance documented in plant-based diet studies published in Diabetes Care and Nutrition Reviews. That is not a rounding error. That is a transformation in how your body processes glucose, driven entirely by what you eat. 37% of type 2 diabetics who adopt a whole food plant-based diet achieve full remission within 1 year, according to research published in PLOS Medicine. I find it to be a much higher percentage and much quicker. Remission, not managed, not controlled. Remission, meaning normal blood sugar without medication. For type 1 diabetics, the story is different but just as important. You cannot reverse an autoimmune condition, but you can dramatically reduce the insulin your body requires, stabilize your blood sugar swings, and reduce the long-term complications that make type 1 dangerous. A1C improvements of 1 to 2 full points reported in multiple peer-reviewed trials within 12 to 16 weeks on a plant-based protocol. 1 to 2 points on your A1C. That is the difference between a doctor who is concerned and a doctor who says, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. These numbers exist. They've been in the medical literature for over a decade, and most diabetics have never been told they exist. Why it works at the cellular level. So why do the numbers look like that? What is actually happening inside your body when you shift to a low-fat, plant-based diet? The answer lives inside your muscle cells. Fat trapped inside your muscle cells. When you eat a diet high in animal fat and processed oils, a portion of that fat gets deposited directly inside your muscle cells. Scientists call this intramyocellular lipid, literally fat within the muscle cell. That fat doesn't just sit there. It interferes with the signaling pathway that insulin uses to move glucose out of your bloodstream and into your cells. Fat blocks the insulin signal, glucose stays in your blood. Think of insulin as a key and your muscle cell as a lock. Intramyocellular fat jams the lock. The key still works, the lock is broken. So glucose cannot get in. Blood sugar rises. Your pancreas pumps out more insulin trying to force the door. Over time, that system breaks down entirely. That is the mechanism of type 2 diabetes. Not too much sugar, too much fat in the wrong places. The real driver? Fat in muscle cells, not just sugar in your diet. When you remove dietary fat, when you stop eating meat, dairy, and processed oils, that intramyocellular fat begins to clear. The lock unjams. Insulin can do its job again. This is not a metaphor. This has been measured with MRI and muscle biopsy in clinical trials. The fat goes in when you eat it. The fat clears when you stop. Remove the fat, insulin works again, blood sugar stabilizes. The timeline? Most people begin to see measurable improvements in fasting glucose within 10 to 14 days, not months, days. Translating science into action. So what does this mean in practical terms? It means three things. 1. The food you remove is as powerful as the food you add. Meat, dairy, eggs, and processed oils are the primary dietary sources of the fat that drives insulin resistance. Removing them is not about restriction, it is about clearing the obstacle that has been blocking your body's own healing mechanism. 2. Whole starches, beans, vegetables, and fruit are your tools. These foods are low in fat, high in fiber, and rich in the nutrients that support insulin sensitivity, gut health, and stable blood sugar. They are not the problem. They have never been the problem. 3. Your body wants to work. It just needs the right conditions. Your cells are not broken. Your insulin pathway is not permanently damaged in most cases. It has been obstructed. Give it the right conditions and it will begin to recover. That is not motivational language. That is cellular biology. The Dominate Diabetes system was built on exactly these three principles, tested, refined, and lived by someone who has been managing diabetes for nearly 6 decades.
Okay, I want you to sit with those numbers for a second. Well over 60% reduction in insulin resistance? That can make type 2 reversal a real thing. A1C dropping 2 full points in 3 months? Those numbers existed while you were being told to count carbs and take your medication and hope for the best. I'm not angry about that anymore. I was for a long time. I was. Now, I just want to make sure that you know what I know. I've been living with diabetes for nearly 60 years. I know what it feels like to be a prisoner to your blood sugar. Yeah, I know what it feels like to be afraid of your own body. And I know what it feels like to stop being afraid. That shift started the day I understood the science. You just heard, not when I believed it, but when I understood it. Because when you understand the mechanism, you can trust the method. The Dominate Diabetes system is almost an endless supply of whole food, plant-based, low-fat recipes built on exact science. Real food, real meals, with the fiber counts, the nutrition data, and the reasoning behind every single one. Link is in the description. If you found this video, you were ready to find it. Share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more. I'm Stephen Michael Smith. Let's get your life back.